Hello everyone and welcome to Not Aaron Turner's Game Reviews. So last year around this time, on the 46th anniversary of Halloween, I made a video talking about Halloween 25 Years of Terror. And I kind of wanted to do something similar for Ultimate Spider-Man, because today is the 20th anniversary of the Ultimate Spider-Man video game. Now, because I already did a episode of Aaron Turner's Game Reviews on Ultimate Spider-Man, I reviewed all three of these versions that you see in front of you. I'm not going to be really going into the game itself in this video because, I made a review of all of these. If you want more in-depth thoughts on all three of these games, then go watch the episodes of Aaron Turner's Game Reviews I did on it. Season 4, Episode 6 and 7, Drive Your Ultimate Soul, and The Ultimate Plan. I will quickly go over, you have the Game Boy Advance version, which is one of the first video games I ever played. Yeah, I have a lot of memories of playing this game when I was really young. It's not really a great game, but, it's fun. It's a fun beat-em-up game. But then, of course, you have the DS version, which I shit all over. This version of the game is absolutely terrible. Would not recommend it. 13-year-old me certainly made a mistake thinking that this game would be fun. And then, of course, you have the console version. I have the PS2 limited edition version. And, of course, I absolutely adore the console version. I think that the console version is one of my favorite video games of all time. And to this day, I still stand by the fact that I think this is the best Spider-Man game ever made. Even when you compare it to the Insomniac games that are coming out now, when I made that episode of Aaron Turner's Game Reviews on Ultimate Spider-Man, I hadn't yet played Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the PS5 at that time. I have since played Marvel Spider-Man 2, and I don't think it's as good as Ultimate Spider-Man. I still think this is the best Spider-Man game. 20 years ago at this point, so pretty crazy. This was one of the first pieces of media that introduced me to Spider-Man. So I've always had a special place in my heart for the Game Boy Advance version and the console version. The DS version I didn't play until, like I said, when I was 13. But, these two versions, definitely I have fond memories. However, that's not all I'm going to be doing in this video. For those of you who saw the episode of Aaron Turner's Game Reviews, Drive Your Ultimate Soul, I talked about the fact that this limited edition version, I bought this used, and it was not the complete set. I didn't get all the features that it's supposed to come with. I just got the case, as well as the disc, obviously, but nothing else. It's supposed to come with a comic book, a instruction manual, and, that stuff, and a slipcover. My copy did not come with that. Well, folks, what if I told you that back in January of this year, I actually managed to buy the full set of the limited edition. I've been searching for a full set of the limited edition, comes with everything it's supposed to come with for years now. I've always wanted this version of the game, and this year, managed to find a copy that was the complete set. Fairly expensive, honestly. It was like $124, but of course not including shipping fees, it's even more than that. Including shipping fees, this clocked in at around $160. Now, yes, it is expensive. Usually I don't purchase games if I have to pay over $100. But in the case of Ultimate Spider-Man, the limited edition, this is obviously a very rare release. Like I said, it's something I've wanted for years, and I figured, because it was a milestone year for this game, it's the 20th anniversary, I wanted to do this video and, you know, showcase this. So I decided to go for it. So now that I actually have the full limited edition set, you can pretty much consider this like a companion video almost to the episode of Arron Turner's Game Reviews, sort of a follow-up video to that episode, because I can finally talk about what this is supposed to come with. So obviously, as you can see, this is the slipcover. It has a really cool, Venom cover, shiny just like the actual case. And here is the back with Spider-Man, lists the bonus features, and it even has, look at that, Stan Lee's signature, Brian Michael Bendis, the writer of the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book, and Mark Bagley, the artist for most of the issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. So, yeah, it looks really nice. Obviously, this is also a used copy. I should have mentioned that earlier, but this is obviously a used copy. It's got tape, and it's, not the best condition. It's beat up, but hey, I mean, it was a good condition copy, especially for the price that I paid. It could be a lot worse, folks. I think I got pretty lucky, because normally this is pretty expensive and the copies are not always in the best condition. So taking a look at the limited edition bonus features, a lot of these are videos that you can find in the unlockable section in the menu of the game. You have the G4 special Making of Ultimate Spider-Man, exclusive interview with Stan Lee, character bios of Spider-Man, Venom, Beetle, and Carnage, developer tricks and tips, and the special edition Ultimate Spider-Man comic book, which I will talk about in a little bit. Yeah, these 4 are videos that you can find on the disc. The exclusive interview with Stan Lee is really not all that special. It's basically about a 5-minute interview of Stan Lee just talking about Spider-Man in general and his thoughts on the game, just talking about Ultimate Spider-Man, the comic book. Very generalized thoughts, but if you're familiar with Stan Lee at all, you know exactly what he's gonna say. So to me, I don't really think it's that very great of an interview, but that's just me. The character bios, you have videos for each individual character, bios for Spider-Man, Venom, Beetle, and Carnage. Pretty cool. Reminds me of like the mid-2000s of videos of that style, character bios, this, name, Peter Parker, powers, So pretty fun. Developers tricks and tips, not much to say about that. Loaded with extras, this is one Spider-Man game no true fan should be without. So let's open this up and actually take a look at what's inside. So take the slip cover off. And of course it's the cover that I already had. Actually, it's funny, I'm pretty sure you can tell, but the copy that I bought this year is actually in better condition than this. As you can see, the older copy has, this and some scratches, some tape damage. It's overall also dirtier. This is actually really nice. Obviously, I already mentioned that, the slipcover is not in the best condition, but at least the case is really good. And the spine. So, opening it up, we have the disc, and we have the features that my old copy was supposed to come with. Okay, so right here we have the limited edition comic book, as well as the instruction manual. So first you have this pretty cool cover, Spider-Man, Venom, and the back, which is a, so it's a wraparound cover. Cool. Okay, so we got the warning stuff, table of contents, not going to go through all of this. Getting started, controls, story so far. The Venom suit was designed by doctors Richard Parker and Edward Brock in an attempt to develop a cure for cancer. Recently, their sons Peter Parker and Eddie Brock Jr. discovered the final remaining sample of the Venom suit and unleashed the nightmare of Venom. So, yeah, just the story. It's a big world out there. Create a profile. Again, I'm not going to go into the instructions, but I'll just quickly, you know, flip through just so you can see if you're curious. Game tokens. Limited edition videos. There you go. Credits. Customer support. Here's something that I find kind of funny. You know, you can get a sense of the time that this was made. So right here, it's advertising a strategy guide book. And I actually remember having some strategy guide books for games when I was a kid. So pretty cool. Obviously, strategy guide books, I don't know if they're even a point to use them now, because, you know, you have YouTube walkthroughs that you can look at now. But, you know, pretty cool for the time. And there we go. That's the instruction book. But now we can look at the limited edition comic book that it came with. Now, this was the feature of the limited edition set that I was most interested in. And I actually didn't come to find out until like right before I bought this set. I was under the impression that this was actually an original story in this comic book, but it's actually not. The cover kind of threw me off, because this is actually an original cover. You know, this isn't a copy from one of the comics. It's original. But opening it up, you can see that this is actually a sneak peek for the Venom story arc in the comic books, issues 33 through 39. So this is just like a selection of pages from those issues. So yeah, just gonna quickly flip through just so you can see. And on the last page of the comic right here, it says, read the entire Venom saga in the Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 6 Venom trade paperback. So yeah, just a sneak peek. But right here we have bios for Spider-Man and Venom. And hey, look at that, you got an advertisement for the Fantastic Four video game that came out around the same time. And on the back here, you have an advertisement for Spider-Man 2, the game. And that's the limited edition set. Now, do I think that this set is worth getting 20 years later? Probably not. For, you know, average fan, probably not. Because the thing about this is that a lot of the videos that are included on the disc, you can easily just find that on YouTube nowadays. You know, so it's not the type of thing where it's like, this is a must, you have to get the limited edition sets, you're missing out, stuff like that. I don't think so. You know, even the limited edition comic book, like I said, is just a sneak peek. Really, the only reason why you would even get this nowadays is for collector's sake. And, you know, especially for someone like me, who's always wanted this. You know, for me, it's cool to have this in time for the 20th anniversary, because like I said, this game was a part of my childhood, introduced me to Spider-Man at a very early age. It wasn't the first, you know, thing that introduced me to Spider-Man, but it was, you know, an early exposure to Spider-Man for me. And to have the complete limited edition set for the 20th anniversary, it's almost like a full circle moment. One thing I should mention is that the limited edition is actually exclusive to the PlayStation 2 console. The limited edition was not released for GameCube or Xbox. It's only for PlayStation 2 users. So once again, I guess this is an example of Xbox and Nintendo users getting the short end of the stick when it comes to Spider-Man games. So just to close out my thoughts, happy 20th anniversary to Ultimate Spider-Man. I really do feel like the console version specifically, not this one or that, but I think this will be regarded as the best piece of Ultimate Spider-Man media. You know, I think this is even better than the comic book series that it's based on. I think it's way better than the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series from 2012 to 2017, which I did not like at all, wasn't a fan of that show. I've even read the recent Ultimate Spider-Man comic book, the one that takes place in an alternate universe where Peter Parker is married with kids before he even gets his powers. and I'm really enjoying that series. I've read like the first 12 issues, and it's good, but I still think that the video game, above all else, will be regarded, and I think probably a lot of people would agree, that this is the best Ultimate Spider-Man anything that we've ever gotten. I love this game. I encourage you, if you have experience, like memories of this game, playing it when you were younger, you know, first time experience, whatever, just, you know, if you want, you can share your history in the comment section, and that's all I pretty much have to say. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Speaking of Arron Turner's game reviews, the next episode should be released pretty soon. You know, I can't make any promises, but I do believe that, I'm confident in saying that it will be released very soon. So I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.